Psychological versus financial costs. As you know, time is more important than money because money can be replaced, but time can't. Anything that can't be replaced is more valuable. I mean, if you have the right mindset and you lose all your money, you'll just get it right back. So, but if you've lost the time, how are you going to get the time back? So, you can't just think about financial costs. You have to also think about psychological costs because the two are intertwined. If you have the right mindset, if you have the right psychology, if you have the right mood, if you have the right temperament, if you have the right maturity, then those are going to make you more money and also improve the overall quality of your life. I mean, what you have today, it's not completely like fair. Life is not completely a meritocracy because bad things do happen to good people, but what you have today in significant part, and some people probably more than others, because like obviously some people were born to different circumstances or whatever, but what you have today is significantly related in most cases to the mindset that you've had. I mean, some people argue from a spiritual perspective that even the challenges that we have here are things that our soul has decided on so that we can grow. I mean, you can accept that or not. There's a lot of work on past lives and life between lives and things like that. But just focusing on the here and now, your life is largely a reflection of your mindset because your mindset determines the actions that you take. Like your actions that you take are related to your identity. Like Tony Robbins says, you'll always act according to your identity. So if your identity is someone that perseveres until they have $10 million in the bank, you won't stop until that happens. And if you're a person that has the mindset and the identity of, I just need to make enough to get by for today, then that will be what you do. They did a famous study where I don't know if it was a study, but I think Seth Godin was talking about it. Maybe it was just anecdotal, I don't remember, but they had a beggar that, it was either a collection or just one, I don't remember, but they found, I think it was actually a collection, but they found that people would stop begging when they got to the amount. If a person was used to making $40 a day and you gave them $40 all at once, they would basically stop. They might continue for a little bit, but not that much longer. So people have an idea in their mind in terms of that's why if you make a decision, a quality decision, you can have almost anything in life. I'm not saying you could fly, but you could actually learn probably. And if your whole life was dedicated to learning how to fly, without an airplane, you could probably almost do it. You would invent mechanical wings or, whatever it took. Anything that's physically possible, if you have the right mindset, determination, and focus, it'll bring it into your life. I mean, you have to avoid doing stupid things like jumping off a cliff where you could die, but you can do almost anything if you work at it. People that are really rich and successful, a lot of them they've worked on their bodies and they might actually look a lot better than they did when they were younger. They obviously we have a certain genes that determine to some degree how we look, but a lot of people that are very successful or wealthy or beautiful, it's because they make the most of what they have and they become better. I mean, in the future we'll have augmentation, so it'll be people will not just be confined to their natural genes as destiny. But in terms of psychological cost and financial cost, so you can't only do what's going to make you the most money in the short time. You also have to do what's going to develop your mind. That's what they call investments. You have to go to conferences or seminars. You have to do something really radical called thinking. Just spend time. They say Warren Buffett spends most of his time in his office just reading and thinking. And Naval Ravikant, says he spends a lot of his time just doing nothing, just thinking. I think that thinking is an underdeveloped form. I mean, sometimes it's active and sometimes it's passive. Sometimes you just let the thoughts come to you and you examine them and see if they make sense or not. And sometimes you actually actively think about a topic. I think both are helpful because thinking, if you just do it too much actively, it can kind of wear you out sometimes. It's kind of you're forcing things in a certain direction. But sometimes if you just meditate or if you just kind of relax and let things come to you, if you focus on a topic, they find that over time, if people put it away and then come back to it, they get fresh insights. That's what they call it, sleeping on it. Even if you have one night's sleep or, after a week or whatever, it goes from short-term memory to long-term memory. You start seeing connections in the world. So you can't just focus on finances. You have to focus on also your mindset. You have to focus on how you feel, like, diet, exercise, reducing stress, good relationships, love. The more that there's harmony in your life, then the more that it will translate into abundance, including financial abundance.